Hello, everyone. My name is Dave, and I work with Digital Leap Solutions. To give a quick background about my profile, I have been associated with Sage for almost a decade now, handling multiple projects as a development partner, working on products like Sage 300, Sage 500, X3, etc. So this is obviously before Digital Leap happened. So when we were working with the organizations implementing ERP, the Sage products, and also the custom solutions on top of Sage products, one of the misconceptions we noticed among the business owners is to think that implementing an ERP is the end of the transformation. But but we have a different opinion. We believe that an ERP is the beginning of the transformation. Here's why we think like that. ERP has vast amount of operational and financial data. We need to think of ways to churn this data to bring in insights and drive a few business decisions automatically. Also, it is also estimated that 45% of the tasks performed on any ERP are manual in nature, includes data entry work. I can give some examples for this. We have just seen an example of invoice entry for AP or AR processes, the purchase order and sales orders, and also customer or supplier onboarding. All these are manual tasks which are done by an ERP user, uh, physically entering the data from a PDF document or an email to the system. This is what we believe is a tipping point for an ERP to bring in emerging technologies like robotic process automation to improve operational efficiencies. I'll drive you through. Let's look at a real-time use case with which we are working with. I'll drive you through the use case now. So the company in this question is a leading Australian wholesale distribution company, uh, distributing agri, farm, and dairy products among their customers. So what they do is they procure the produce or the raw material from almost 40 different suppliers, process them, and distribute to their customers, who are generally the star hotel chains, resorts, capes. One of the core processes they handle in their operations is the sales quotation, so the sales quote management. Let's look at what happens in sales quote management. The sales team raises an RFQ with their suppliers. In this case, it is 40 suppliers. A typical quotation process involves communicating to the suppliers with the actual customer requirements. What is that customer is asking for? The suppliers respond back with their quotations, typically in an email attached with a PDF document. Most of the time, it is an email with an attachment, a PDF document attached, which contains the terms and conditions, the product pricing information, invoicing terms, and expected delivery dates. Now, the customer service representative at the organization, or sometimes the sales team as well, scans through or reads every email received, downloads the quotations, and creates an entry into Sage X3. And this is repeated for all the responses received, which is time consuming and inefficient. I'll drive you through the process in a visual representation. How does a manual process look like? You have the supplier sending the quotations in emails or the responses to the quotations. You have the customer service representative or the sales team reading through all the emails, downloading those attachments, logging into X3, and creating an entry into X3. And someone working on X3 can easily recognize that when you're creating a quote in X3 or in any other ERP for that matter, first you create an entry for the quotation number, the customer ID, and RFQ number. You have the details of the tax, shipping details, shipping mode, and the probability of success of the sale. And you have the lines tab where you enter the product information, units ordered, and the gross price or the net price. So we have other information as well, other information fields as well, but predominantly these are the details which you enter into any ERP. And imagine you working with 40 suppliers, and all 40 suppliers respond back with their quotations, and you're repeating this process for all the 40 responses. So we have noticed with this customer that they spend on an average 4 to 5 minutes for each entry, and you can calculate how much they spend for all the 40 suppliers, and this is repeated every fortnight or every month. This is where we found an opportunity to automate, and we transformed the entire operations using robotic process automation. Now let's look at the same process using robotic process automation. You still have the supplier sending the emails with attachments. Instead of a human handling these emails, we have deployed a robot which scans through all the emails, filters the emails which have only the responses with quotation, download the quotations into a specific folder, and creates an entry into the Sage X3. And this is repeated for all the 40 emails. The best part is we have scheduled this robot to run every 3 hours so that you don't have to miss, or you don't have to trigger the robot after seeing 40 emails in the morning. So it is scheduled every three hours. So by the time you are in the office, all the details are already in your system. All you have to do is take the right decision. And if you notice this process, there are no critical decision points that have to be taken where you need a human intervention. So this is a typical data entry work which you are doing for almost 40 suppliers. Something which a human was doing with 4 to 5 minutes for each transaction, the bot is doing in 50 seconds for each entry. This is how we transform the process for them. Now I'll show you a quick video of the bot running on this. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So this is a demo code which we prepared for this presentation, wherein the quotation has the product lines, the customer information, and the supplier information. And we use document intelligence to capture these details in the production environment with the client to capture details from almost 40 different templates. So you don't have to worry about the change in templates with the different customers. So every time a new template comes in picture, so the robot is trained to capture the required information from the document. So when you run the robot captures the information, it logs into Sage X3, gets into quotation screen, creates a new entry for the quotation, and updates the details like the sales site from which this quotation or this product is being dispatched, then the customer who has requested for this, and the supplier details, and finally the product information. We have 4 products in the quotation, if you noticed, and it creates an entry for all the 4 products along with the unit price and the gross and number of units ordered. So that's your last entry of the product. So that's a quick demo of the robot which we built for sales quotation. Now, uh, we have identified almost 6 focus areas within their business to deploy multiple robots and to control the robots from a centralized control room. And I can give some of the examples of the focus areas: the purchase order operations, the sales order operations, the customer and supplier onboarding, and in APAR or finance and accounting. These are some of the focus areas which we identified for this wholesale distributor. And we are deploying multiple robots and a centralized control room to completely digitize their operations. Our objective is basically to create an end-to-end hands-free ERP solution where as much as possible. Thank you.